Waiting for Godot, a tragicomedy in 2 acts, is a play by Samuel Beckett. It follows 2 homeless men passing the time while waiting for a mysterious benefactor named Godot. The 2 pose many ideas for what to do while they wait, including suicide, playing games, and just plain leaving. But they never dedicate to any one of those plans, only whittling away the time with idle chatter and strange encounters with a slave and his owner. Toward the end of the play, one of the 2 men, Vladimir, realizes the cycle he's trapped in. He knows Godot will never come, and that nothing will ever really change, but resigns himself to this life and continues on regardless, claiming that Godot will punish the 2 of them if they don't wait for him. The play ends with the 2 main characters saying they'll leave to get some sleep, but they never exit the stage. That idea of waiting for a savior that never comes strikes at the heart of a lot of us. And while real academics with real uses for their degrees spend their time thinking about how it applies to the human condition, I'm here to apply it to video games. I think all of us have that one thing, that one dream game that we're still waiting for. Legacy of Kain still doesn't have an ending. Morrowind fanboys like me still dream of flying through the skies again. And hardcore Pokemon fans, well... Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but I don't like Pokemon. I played up to Gen 3 as a kid, and halfway through Platinum I lost interest, and I haven't regained interest since. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I do still have a warm nostalgia for the series. I did grow up in the late 90s and early 2000s after all, and all these years I've been hoping for Pokemon to really excite me again. And I have to be honest, when Sword and Shield were announced, I got a little excited. The idea of a big, open, truly 3D Pokemon game on console with cutting-edge tech and new mechanics is what I've always wanted, even if I thought it was never coming. Then footage of the game came out, and news about the cuts to the Pokédex, and there was word about models being reused, and the game screwing up people's Switches, and all types of other things. This wasn't the Pokemon game I was waiting for, and the Pokemon game I'm waiting for will probably never come. So instead of buying Gen 8, I sat down, found a ROM of Emerald, and I played it. And it's still not doing it for me. My fond memories of playing the game as a kid remain memories, and now I'm sitting here, champion of Hoenn, wondering why I spent 30 hours doing this. Then, immediately after wondering that, I found a Platinum ROM, and I'm trying all over again. The same game that made me give up on Pokemon, and I'm searching for answers here for some reason. So the question is, why? Why do I keep doing this to myself, even though I know none of these games are what I want them to be? I could be finishing Planescape Torment, or Death Stranding, or KOTOR, or any other game I know I'll enjoy more. I'm sitting here, waiting for Game Freak to give me what I want, for no reason that I can understand. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think the people that have been dismissed as Game Freak haters for dunking on Sword and Shield are in the same camp I am. We're just waiting. And like Vladimir and Godot, we're becoming more and more aware that nothing is going to happen. We want things to change, but given that Sword and Shield have been massively successful, they're not going to. Pokemon will never be an expansive world, it'll never have the depth we want it to, and it'll never have great writing. And it's especially never going to have top-tier production values. The kicking and screaming about the flaws of Gen 8 haven't done anything. That's not to say that those who have voiced their concerns are wrong to do so, but what I want to get at is this. Why don't we just give up? We can just stop. Stop waiting for the game of your dreams and start looking for it elsewhere. I found my alternative to Pokemon years ago with Shin Megami Tensei, and while I now find myself waiting for SMT5, there are decades of other SMT games to play. And why stop there? Pokemon isn't the only monster collecting game out there. Remember Digimon? That's still around, and one of the latest games, Cyber Sleuth, just got a PC port. Yokai Watch has a dedicated following, and that series just had a new game come out this summer. And hell, Monster Rancher is getting a remake of the first game on Switch. I've never played much of Digimon, or ever played Yokai Watch at all, and I only have a little bit of experience with Monster Rancher, but those games are still out there, and they're still waiting for you to play them. Why not try them, instead of sitting around waiting for Pokemon to be what you want? Part of the problem, I think, is the deep-seated belief in gaming culture that sequels are a given. It seems every game of almost every genre is for some reason expected to get a sequel, no matter the context. For example, Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a great game, but it doesn't need and probably shouldn't get a sequel. Maybe a sequel to Bloodborne could be great, but looking at the things I love about Bloodborne and the details behind its creation, I can't find any reason to want an outright sequel. I loved playing Bloodborne because it was a unique experience, different enough from the games that it both stands on its own and successfully subverts some of the core ideas. But if it were given a sequel, that uniqueness would be lessened. In essence, I would go into Bloodborne 2 knowing basically what to expect, and that's a negative even if the game is great. And looking at Hidetaka Miyazaki's statements about making further games, it's apparent that he isn't interested and wants to engage in more creative development, rather than iterating on his past games. Sure, From could make more games without him, but we all remember what happened the last time they tried to make a game without Miyazaki. So why would we demand a sequel that the creator doesn't want to make and which will inherently lack one of the most appealing parts of the original? Why can one good thing not be enough? There are plenty of us out there, still waiting for Bloodborne 2, or Mother 4, or a new Silent Hill. But isn't it in some way selfish to demand that the creators and artists who consider their work complete return in half spirits just to pump out sequels? It's not something you see nearly as much in film or literature. No one is demanding a sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, or another Godfather sequel, or a Citizen Kane remake. I don't see why gaming is so different. Before wondering why the game you're waiting for won't come, wonder instead why it should come. And sometimes, once in a blue moon, the game you want does come, even with some of the old creators involved. Half-Life was dead for years, but now we've got a fancy VR trailer for Half-Life Alyx. I remember when people were bemoaning the death of Half-Life when Mark Laidlaw put out Epistle 3, and now here we are. But were we really waiting for it? Maybe in my heart of hearts I did believe that a new Half-Life game would come eventually, but I wasn't banking my hopes and dreams on it. It happened, whether I waited for it or not. And in the meantime, I played other games, found new things, and realized Half-Life isn't all there is to the world of immersive shooters. I gave up on Half-Life, but Half-Life came back anyway. It's a lot to ask, telling you all to give up hope on your favorite forgotten or stagnated franchises. And maybe you never really can fully let go of something you love. But I do want to say this. There's a whole wide world out there, and somewhere in that space is your actual dream game. It's out there, real as can be, and it's waiting for you. Why are you still waiting for Game Freak, or Atlas, or any other studio? If they can't be bothered to come to you, you shouldn't wait for them.